How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to attempt this trial called Ride on King. It's just a little explanation there. It's basically like a sort of village-ish in the middle of nowhere that you've got to get to 5 different checkpoints. You've got a CK-1500. It definitely makes it pretty awkward because you can only take a maximum of 100 damage, which racks up pretty goddamn easily. And yeah, there's also a 9-minute time limit, so you've got to be kind of, pretty quick with the pace, but you don't want to damage yourself. And yeah, when it opens up, I mean, there's a little explanation there. It calls me a sweat around these neck of the woods. That's an insult, but we'll get over it. Yeah, I'm about to flashing up in the next 10-15 seconds. Is like I drew a route on the map that I'm going to take. So if you don't want to know, look away now, and I'll tell you in a minute when you can look back. There's the 5 checkpoints you got to get. Like I said, you can get them in any order, but after many trial and errors, this is the path that I think is the best. I'll show you a couple of other little bits and bobs and reasons why I'd go this way. Yeah, the first awkward bit there, you've got to kind of jump off this cliff. There isn't really any good way around it. If you go along that right hand edge, you fall into the water a lot. There's also a big lip there on the cliff, like along the water's edge. I kind of jumped down here. Cutting through the trees is a nightmare, but that's about the biggest pain in the arse of the mission. Get the first checkpoint, cut along this lake. It's kind of like a cut out path really. You kind of, when you're there, you'll see what I mean. Follow that round, come back down the rocks, double back on yourself. Instead of going over the bridge, jump down and get that checkpoint, because then you can just go under the bridge and it's pretty easy to like ride up the other side. It's about as easy as taking the bridge anyway. From there, yeah, you can kind of see a little channel cut out in the terrain. That last checkpoint I just looked at, you can't, the CK just doesn't have enough grip to drive up that mountain, so I wouldn't worry about trying to grab that yet. Yeah, cut all the way along the edge of that lake really, down to this bit of the map. Grab that checkpoint, double back on yourself, cut along the bottom edge of this lake, cut over there. There's like a little island in the middle, and then again it's like a little path that just sort of makes sense when you're there. Follow that round and up to the top of the mountain, and then yeah, that to me, that's the order I did it in. And I think for many different reasons that's the best way to go. I'll show you a few of the first trial and errors. And for those of you who did look away, you can look back now if you just didn't want to see like my the route I drew, but yeah, I would sort of say you're going to kind of see the way I would recommend going anyway if you carry on watching this video. Yeah, this is obviously as you start. Normally I would turn very sharply left as I start and kind of cut across near the trees that were to my left. This seems like the first kind of obvious way to go. And it gets pretty narrow here, and it is possible to keep all your wheels on and go down more towards the left, but most of the time it hooks your wheel over and you just roll down there. There's elements of this mission I'm definitely not too keen on. I'll get into it in a minute, but some ways it can potentially be a fun mission, but it's a bit of a head doer at the start. Again, this was just to kind of, yeah, kept testing it out. I mean, if you see the way I eventually go, you realistically wouldn't take a truck that way because you'd smash it to bits. I mean, I don't know if, an argument could be made. You wouldn't really sanely repeatably take a truck this way either. Yeah, as soon as one of the wheels just scoots off, the nice thing is it has an autonomous winch on it, so I was able to fling a winch out and grab on, but this was kind of best case scenario and ended up falling down here. Now I'm in a dip. The camera doesn't show it very well, but I'm kind of lower down than the terrain above me, and it's yeah, a bit of an awkward sod just to get out of. I eventually turned the vehicle round, but as you can see, cutting along these rocks along the water's edge, even if you can get over this bit, which kind of forces you to tip over there and you're blocked by that tree, but up ahead of me I kind of get a bit of a better angle here. You can see those rocks are bloody steep. To get up them in their own right, it was just a waste of time. Even if you can kind of winch your way in, it's a bit awkward. It's just, yeah, you're against the clock, so every second you use is valuable time. This is another potential option. This is heading right pretty much when I start the game. And this is a route that's kind of clearly, some kind of path. It's not just a random potluck route. But there's a couple of issues with this. I couldn't really find a nice pattern to do it this way round that didn't involve quite a bit of doubling back on yourself. And this route in general still eats a good minute or two. And it's kind of the way I do this eventually. I don't really have to include this section, whereas if I go this way round with the map, I still have to cover most of what I, do going the other way round, so it's just like an extra step really. But it again, at the start, it felt like probably the right way, because especially when you get into this point where you can see boards laid across the rocks, it's like, well, that's definitely made for a vehicle. So yeah, it's kind of giving you the hint that this is the way to go. And to be fair, I mean, you can do the checkpoints in any order, so it's not to say this isn't the way to go. It's just, and I've not, I've not done 50 hours testing on this thing or anything. I completed it and I was like, thank fuck for that. And then I was off to go and test my bobblehead out. But yeah, I mean, I would have said a good, I don't know, 20 to 40 attempts, depending what you really count as an attempt. Like, a few were just flying off the cliff pretty near the start. I wouldn't probably go as far as say it was a full attempt. So this is where the mission was getting a little bit like, just bordering on tedious, where the actual CK itself feels alright, but I don't know, I assume it's mainly the tyres they give you. They're just really not very grippy at all, and I mean, yeah, it's not exactly a massive rock lip edge thing I've got to drive up. It's a four-wheel drive pickup. You'd expect it to get up there, but it's probably more of a fault of the gearbox, I think, as well. Like I said, I've never really been a fan of the Scout gearboxes, but it's just, there's not quite enough power and / or grip that you do get stuck on some of these little rocks and little ledges, like a bit too much. Again, I was able to do this mission eventually within 9 minutes, but yeah, it doesn't really feel exciting. You feel a little bit, I don't know, just whoever, like, somebody, again, responsible for this game is just, they love the idea of, like, being stuck and being, like, almost unequipped for the situation. Whereas, yeah, it feels a bit more exciting when you're actually beating the train a bit better. But like I said, going that way, where I got to in the end, where I just cut, I could have gone left, and I'll end up back on the path that I'll show you pretty soon. This is basically the best way I ended up finding. Cut along here. As you can see, though, it's not realistic, really, because I can't really brake going down here. It just starts sliding. But as you can see there, I didn't take a hell of a lot of damage. I was able to fling a winch out, and I'm now down here in a matter of seconds. The damage bar at the top, I've took about a quarter, really, of what I'm allowed to take. But then now, you'll see the next trollish issue. The branch on this tree is absolutely stopping me dead. That little bush I just reversed into, I believe this is possibly because they've done some update recently, and I reckon they might have attempted to patch something and it's made them go wrong, so to speak. But the little bushes in the ground, I got a TranStar stuck on one earlier, which I was like, what the hell, I've never seen that before. Then I tried this shortly afterwards and I started getting stuck on them again. So yeah, I believe that's probably a I don't know, an unchosen consequence of the recent patch. So that should be fixed soon, but it wasn't really helping me out when, yeah, some little bush that's like half an inch branch thickness is stopping a 2-ton pickup. And this is, for me, the worst bit of the mission. I agree, if you're watching now, you're probably thinking, oh, this doesn't look like the official proper way at all, and I do kind of agree, except for it really does flow with, like, the map in general. Once you get past this trollish little section, I tend to find, as you jump off that cliff, if you head slightly left into the trees, and then when you you get into a little bit of a clearing in the trees, sort of start swerving to the right a bit, kind of aiming for this checkpoint, and yeah, it's trollish and it is a bit annoying, it's a bit repetitive, it's a bit of a pain in the arse, keep getting stuck on the tree branches. But if you can get out of there in a nice pace, as you can see, it kind of opens up after that, and it's not that bad. You can kind of make up a lot of time again. For whatever reason, the map keeps looking like it's dropping down into a hole until I sort of get close enough and it kind of renders the ground properly. So this bit in particular, it's not bothering me, but I just don't think there's a realistic amount of grip. Like, I tend to find that in this game, more so recently. I don't know whether it's I've just been paying attention to it more recently, or if it's some kind of hidden consequence again of various patches, but yeah, I don't know, a lot of trucks almost feel like they don't weigh a lot, so they don't grip very well on the game, like beyond to, yeah, where it should be really. But as you can see, as I'm coming along here, it's kind of a chiselled out path. The game's practically encouraging you to go this way. So then you just get, yeah, trollish bits like that where there's just like, there's no Doesn't feel like there's any power to it, and believe me, I tried the high-low. I would say that's even worse. I think the auto is the best of a not a great option. And as I said, overall, I actually think this feels like a pretty nice Scout, so I'm not anti the CK-1500. I quite like the way it drifts and everything, but again, with these trials, we can't choose what setup we have, but they don't necessarily give us the best setup, so they always feel a little bit more gutless than they normally are. They're always slightly on the underwhelming side. Yeah, this is that little section with the bridge where instead of just going over the bridge, jump down. I mean, of course, this thing just had to... I mean, that's the bits I'm noticing where it doesn't feel very realistic. The way it skids and skates around on some of the rock and the terrain is like, it just doesn't... And I've even... Like, I'm not saying all my opinions are correct, that's fine, they're opinions, but one thing I would say is I like to at least try and make an informed opinion. And even when I've like been watching videos over the last few weeks on YouTube, just off-roading videos for my own kind of sanity and curiosity, like I'll go and see if trucks really are that slippy on snow and all the rest of it, and it's like, they rarely are, really. Not to the degree this game sort of takes it to at the minute. But again, it's more of a bad tyre choice. Like people have been saying with the P16, that's got some kind of special tyres that have got the best stats in the game, and it feels like a nice truck. Like it feels like one of the most realistic trucks, realistic to how you would imagine it should be and behave. And I mean, this was the first attempt, by the way, at this. I'm not going to just show you like millions of attempts. I believe there's this that ended up being a failed attempt. And then I had one that went a bit better. You get little sections like this with a boggy mud. You soon learn, like, you're best off skirting around the left-hand edge of that if you can, if you remember. But like I said, mostly it feels like it's the right way to go, because it's kind of the only path in the map that, yeah, it's just kind of cleared out and you can actually make some progress. I could have doubled back on myself there and kind of gone back round to the right and popped out where I am now, but again, in the interest of shaving some time off, I'm going to go the cheeky way around it, go bombing through the trees. And yeah, when you get down here, try and go to the left as soon as you can, because all that boggy section there, I apologise, a tiny little glitch. I must have glitched like a truck length or two ahead. When you get to this point, I honestly wouldn't go up this way. I mean, again, this thing just hasn't got... It's probably not engine in this case, it's just the grip. I'm not certain what wheels they've got on it. They're obviously not the muds or anything. And even with the winch, like, well, I'm winching, so it's forcing me to choose that branch in front of me. But yeah, time like this, I mean, you'll see, imagine how much time that cost me there. Not a whole lot, but if I just skirted around, like, the bottom side of that rock, because right now, the terrain's tipping so far to the right, it's kind of forcing me back down near the lake anyway. And I couldn't really turn out of it too sharply, otherwise I would have rolled and then I'll lose more time. So, yeah, I just wouldn't bother driving over the top of that. I'd skirt along the water like this. It might look a bit slower, but in the long run, I think I'd be a lot further ahead if I did. And I mean, it's funny, like, I definitely wasn't keen on this mission at the start. I still wouldn't go as far as to say I'm keen on the mission. The map in itself would be pretty cool again if once you complete this, if you unlocked the map and then I was allowed to go on here with like loafs and potentially all vehicles, but even if it was just scouts or whatever, just to, yeah, mess around on the map, it'd be a pretty cool map to do that. But yeah, as far as like trying to get under 9 minutes, it's just there's times where, yeah, you just get stuck on something stupid and it's like, that's just killed my attempt over, yeah, kind of like trollishness. And I mean, right now, I'd say between that rock that I tried to climb over earlier and this, it's pretty much cost me the mission. I mean, that tree as well, look, the branch. Like, when the hell does a tree branch rotate a pickup like 120 odd degrees? I reckon I could push through a tree branch riding a fucking bicycle, never mind a 2-ton pickup. And yeah, you're better off like skirting along this left-hand edge. There is islands dotted in the kind of lake, I wouldn't bother trying to jump from island to island, because just even in the little bit of water between each island, it's a pain in the arse. You got to throw a winch out to the tree and just crawl along. Yeah, the way I went earlier, when I went right when I started, that's like right behind me now is kind of where I edited it. So yeah, that's like where I met up with myself again, basically. And you see, going down here, even things like a little fern bush I'm just clipping now, even they were like dragging on the truck quite a lot tonight. See there? But yeah, look, here it's like, where's the engine power, man? It's a 5 litre V8 thing in this, isn't it? And it can barely crawl up that hill, which it just doesn't feel realistic. Yeah, feels a bit over the top. And that's where it starts to feel like I get that tedious, impatient feeling, like, we both know what's going to happen, truck. I'm going to get your slow ass up the top of that hill, but you're just going to make me watch it happen for longer. See, again, bits like this, I mean, look at the timer now, it's like, too late, but a little rock lip like that, again, I reckon the M5 could have got over that, and that's like the opposite of an off-roader, so how this thing's struggling, I don't know. So that's what I need to send in a loaf. I mean, I can see why they didn't offer the loaf for this one, because it just wouldn't be a contest, be an inevitability. So yeah, at this point I tried to commit suicide. I figured the CK deserved it, it earned it. Funny thing I did notice though, you see when I fly down here, I can see my driver in the cab, and yeah, I attempted to drown him, there he is. I look back round, bang, he's gone. Goddamn loaf trained professionals out of there, he ain't getting wet. So, attempt number, I don't know, 20 to 40, but as far as you guys can see, it's about attempt number 4 or 5, I suppose. Another thing as well, when you first start the game, as soon as you click on like the map, the timer starts counting. It's little things, there is certainly like a tiny element of quality of life improvements they could do to this game. One thing as well, while I remember, you know when you go on the map and you want to go down to your garage and then you have to scroll through 30 vehicles you've got scattered throughout the map, 50 trailers, or for me anyway, that I've got scattered throughout the map, and it's like, why can't you just put the garage at the top of the goddamn menu? Like, the wear and tear on my remote, the amount of times I've had to press down on the D-pad to scroll through 50 fucking trailers, especially on Northport. God damn, when I'm on Northport it's like, oh shit, I need another vehicle. It's like sit there for 5 minutes scrolling through, yeah, like 50 to 100 trailers and everything else. You can see at this point, I was sick and tired of these bloody trees, I just started reversing through here because it kind of twisted me around at a bad angle. Funnily enough, it actually went pretty well, all things considered. You can see though, with my damage meter, that's already kind of 9/10 full. And yeah, I've only just made it to the first checkpoint, so I was thinking at this point, I don't like, no my luck, I'll get 3/4 of the way through it, I'll hit some random stone on the way, and it'll just delete that last bit of my truck. Didn't really help the situation when I smashed into a tree. But again, I will say, as you're driving along and you floor it, you kind of notice it when you really try not to take damage and stuff. But yeah, like the truck just doesn't, I don't think, stays planted like it would in real life, so you do skate along a bit. Like I did attempt to avoid that tree, it looks like I just drove flat out into it, but I assure you, attempts were made. Probably the same thing the captain of the Titanic said. See, at least on this bit, like once I'm through them trees, most of the map after that is quite open. So like I say, it's one of those where the mission was just like, at first, yeah, just like, oh god, have I just got to repeat this 100 times until I slowly learn the correct way. I don't know whether I got lucky or not as to how quick I kind of figured the way out. I mean, like I said, you can see the kind of channel cut out the rock, so once I made it to places like this, it was kind of obvious the way it was encouraging me to go. But yeah, it's, like I said, now I've done the mission, I could play it again now and probably first, I don't know, the first 1 to 3 attempts, I could probably complete the mission again. It's a little bit like here though, I'm reversing, I'm turning the wheels, but just as you go to drive, it just scoots over. It's like, yeah. And I think in real life, like just the weight of a pickup, it wouldn't. Well, it doesn't really scoot over like that unless you're on some seriously slippy, like slurry mud type stuff or something. But thankfully, I actually reversed alright out of there. A few times I accidentally dropped the nose of my vehicle down there, and I was stuck there for about a minute. You see, once you go under the bridge, though, I mean, well, it looks like a pretty damn smooth exit back up to the other side. It kind of is, but yeah, even that little, relatively small rock clip was hanging me up a bit. And I certainly know it wouldn't do my damage situation any favours, but I'm just saying, if it was me personally, I would be dropping the hammer right about now, and I would be flying up this mountain. I was definitely going faster than this when I nearly hit that sheep. You don't want to go off to the left, which I did once. I was like, God damn it, that probably cost me that attempt. Yeah, you can see with the damage, I'm seriously taking the piss. I'm not even sure how much is left. It'd be nice if it said a number, just for my own curiosity, but there's 100 damage you're allowed. I'm pretty certain I'm above 95 damage I've already taken. It's looking more like 98, 99 I would have thought. But I like to play it risky. Loaf trained. So in each time now I've got about, what, 4 minutes left. It was yeah, I was like, hang on, this could be doable, because I think last time I was about 3-ish minutes left here. And yeah, I mean, last time, what did I miss? I missed it by about 10 or 15 seconds, really, so not a whole lot. Like I said, each time you kind of learn a bit better. At least that's the nice thing, like, once you actually kind of learn the route, and all that headache of, like, not even having a clue if you go in the right way. I suppose that was the feeling at the beginning, and it's like, is this route I'm taking even... Yeah, is it even the right way, or am I going to learn later on that it's kind of a waste of time anyway? So this is that big rock that, yeah, just see what I mean, driving under it, you can just, in the long run, get going a lot quicker. I have to say as well, I quite like the look of the CK in this colour. I've been picking a few more normal colours recently. I definitely preferred my like bright colours than that, just because, like I said, MudRunner was quite a grey, blandish colour palette to it, so playing on this, it was nice to have like some crazy yellows and bright reds and all sorts. But yeah, I'm definitely I've been picking a few more normal colours recently, especially with the loafs. I'm kind of running out of colours, so I had no choice. Wow, hemorrhoid red, I don't know if that's... I suppose it's a natural colour. Trying your best, I think. You clip that tree, goddammit. Take 1 damage. Hear a lot of predators croaking in this map. This must be where they live. That's probably why they didn't let me send in the loaf. They know what had happened. Be a goddamn deadator. All of them. Again, I suppose at this point it's kind of like the slight slowness of the vehicle. It's possibly paying off with not taking that last little bit of damage. I'm surprised it hadn't trolled me at this point though. It filled up to that point pretty well. Yeah, that's definitely what she said. As for time though, I think, yeah, we're looking pretty good. I've got about 2 minutes left. Normally I'd go round to the left of that rock. I even thought now, oh please don't let that cost me. It cost me the whole attempt. Like I said, it'd be a pretty interesting map to have another attempt on other scout vehicles, and this again, look, it's just like, really? Give me some goddamn power, game. When you actually think about it, it's like 1 mile an hour and it's struggling to get up a little, not even a steep hill really. Definitely can't wait for the mods. I think the 2 biggest things that need modding, yeah, is tyres and engine power. And preferably just the rev and speed caps being taken off half the vehicles, because Yeah, they're cock blocking little bastards as well. And again, I was thinking, oh god, I took a damage here a few times. I wasn't sure if just trying to slowly scoot up here, it'd give me that last one piece of damage and end my day. But no, it didn't. And yeah, round the corner, up to the top. Like I say, that's why I think it's best to leave this one to last, because once you're at the top here, you can actually kind of carry on straight on a bit to the right, really, sort of towards where that tree was, and cut down. But yeah, you certainly ain't cutting back up the other way here. And yeah, that was it. There we go, got the Joker thing. Celebratory drive off cliff. It's funny though now. I know obviously like the damage doesn't really matter anymore, but now the vehicle fails to roll, doesn't really do anything, drives like a goddamn beast, as usual. So yeah, we're going to have a quick look at the Joker before I'm done. There it is. Was it worth it or not? Answers on a postcard. I just wanted to test it out if it was wobbly or not. That's definitely what she said. Yeah, when you crash, I mean, it's pretty wobbly when you crash, but it's not as wobbly as you'd kind of think. You know, as you're bouncing along the ground, like in real life, your actual head would be flinging around like a mad one, never mind this bobblehead on a spring. I mean, of course, we're in the goddamn professional. He's even got himself a digital radio. What a goddamn horse of a vehicle. That's what I was looking at. Oh. I didn't talk about that. Yeah, you can see when... Look, a moose crossing. Goddamn loaf crossing now. You get your own moose crossing. Yeah, as I'm rallying along and killing trees, having a good time, but it wasn't wobbling around that much. And then when you crash in a post again, yeah, a bit of a jiggle. It'll do. I think that Masher doll is probably the worst for not wobbling around. I think the dog, that's probably one of the best. Goddamn horse. Deleted the fence. Fence couldn't handle it. And yeah, last quick one with the twins there. But like I said, that's about it for today. That's the mission. Good luck to you if you attempt it. And overall, like I said, it's not that bad once you kind of know what you're doing. But yeah, it's a bit of a long process to get there. Anyway, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.